The problem isn't that you've lost your edge, it's that you've lost control. And if we're being honest, you know deep down that it wasn't the chart that failed you, it was you. Think about how many times you've made the same promises. No more revenge trading, no more oversized positions after a loss, no more early exits out of fear. You know the rules and you have a system, but when the pressure hits, you vanish. A different version of you takes over, and that's not just emotion, that's tilt. Jared Tendler's work isn't for the average trader. It's for the person who wants to stop the bleeding and begin the slow, deliberate process of rebuilding. This isn't about market hype, it's about psychology. It's about performing when the pressure is on. This is about discovering the trader you could be if you finally face the mental game you've avoided for your entire career. This isn't just a video, it's a mirror. It's for every setup you ignored, every spiral you blamed on the market, and every moment you cracked under pressure. If you're brave enough to continue, you'll discover what it takes to become the kind of trader who doesn't tilt. And that trader will look a lot like you, recognizing the internal breakdown. You might not recall the precise moment things went sideways, but it happened. It was somewhere between that third consecutive red trade and the moment you slammed your mouse down. Your trading plan was still on your screen, but you weren't following it. You were chasing, acting purely on instinct, not to make money, but to make the pain stop. This is the very moment Tendler writes about, the emotional hijack. It's when your logic is seized and all the discipline you've worked so hard to build is drowned in a flood of emotional chaos. If you're honest with yourself, this happens more often than you'd like to admit. You've felt the sudden spike in urgency, the anger, the panic, the numb feeling afterward. This isn't a failure of your strategy. It's a failure of your mind, your unconscious patterns and reactions setting off like hidden landmines. Your A game, that focused, calm version of you, doesn't disappear in one explosive moment. It erodes slowly. It's the subtle slip into your B game, the small cracks, hesitating on a valid entry, making a little excuse to yourself, skipping one journaling session. These minor lapses in discipline are the first signs of a greater problem. If you don't catch it here, your C game, your worst trading self, will take the wheel, and you'll just be a passive observer as your account bleeds. You are not one fixed trader. You are your A game, your B game, and your C game, and you shift between them every day. The key is to learn to track this movement and build awareness maps. Ask yourself, what does my best trading self look like? What does it feel like? What are the first warning signs that I'm slipping into my B game? What are the repeated behaviors that show up just before I completely lose control? This isn't about perfection. It's about having a system of awareness, mapping your mind. The most dangerous patterns aren't on the chart. They're inside you, in your breathing, your posture, and your internal dialogue. Maybe your jaw tightens or your thoughts get faster and meaner, but you don't catch it, not because it's invisible, but because you've conditioned yourself to ignore these signals. This blindness is the mental leak that keeps destroying your trades. You blame the market, thinking it faked you out, but in reality, your mental state was already compromised before you even clicked. You were already frustrated, already chasing. You didn't pause to catch the pattern because you never mapped it. Tendler's core message is to treat your emotional patterns just like your trade patterns. Track them, study them, and log them. You log your entries and exits, but do you log how your palms sweat before you move a stop loss? That's the blind spot. This is why you need to build a mental hand history. The next time you break your rules, write down what triggered it. What emotion hit first? What thoughts were you having? Go deeper. What belief fueled the fuse? Was it, I have to make this money back, or I can't lose again? These aren't just random thoughts. They are deeply rooted beliefs that, until challenged, will continue to run the show. This approach isn't therapy. It's tactical performance coaching. It's the same process used by high-stakes poker players and elite athletes. High performers don't just train their skills, they train their awareness. Building an unshakable foundation. You've experienced the illusion of confidence, that feeling of being on fire after a winning streak, only to have it evaporate after a couple of losses. This conditional confidence is built on outcomes, not on actual skill, and it's extremely dangerous. Real confidence is quieter. It doesn't surge when you win or crash when you lose. It comes from trusting your process, not from needing a certain outcome. The secret is to build confidence from competence. Every time you stick to your rules, especially when it's hard, you're rewiring your brain. You're not trying to feel confident before you act. You're using your actions to build confidence. This also means training for specific types of tilt. When anger tilt takes over, it feels powerful, like you're getting emotional justice, but it's just fear in armor. The solution isn't to manage your anger. It's to restructure your core belief that a loss is a betrayal rather than just data. Similarly, fear tilt makes you small and fragile, causing you to exit early and second-guess your system. The fix is emotional remapping, teaching your brain that discomfort isn't danger and that a red candle isn't a predator. By journaling these moments and logging your reactions, you can demote fear from a driver to a passenger, engineering your discipline. Most traders fail not because they lack skill, but because their emotions hijack their execution. This is where Tendler's framework for real-time correction comes in. First, recognition. You must catch the tilt before it fully takes hold. Your warning signs are not random, they are patterned. Start tracking the smallest cues, the shift in your breathing, the tightening of your jaw, the spike in urgency. Second, correction. You don't fight emotion with brute force, you redirect it with logic. This is where you use pre-written statements, short tactical phrases that snap your brain back into the present. Remind yourself, this is tilt, not truth, or I am trading emotion, not edge. These aren't magical words. They're anchors that disarm the chaos while your nervous system resets. Third, repetition. You must build this response like a muscle. You will still make mistakes, but every time you interrupt the loop, even just a moment earlier than the last time, you're rewiring your brain. And finally, you need to prepare. Real traders don't hope for discipline. They engineer it. They use a mental warm-up to prepare their mind before the trading day begins. They scan for emotional residue from the previous day and set clear intentions focused on process, not on P&L. They identify potential threats and pre-plan their responses with if-then statements. If I feel FOMO, I will sit out the next setup. This is how you build a structure to protect your focus and your discipline from the moment the session begins. The trader who doesn't tilt. The trader who doesn't tilt isn't a fantasy. He's not emotionless or flawless. He's simply in control. He sees the same losses and missed opportunities, but he doesn't spiral because he's trained. He knows that winning doesn't come from being fearless. It comes from managing fear. You've spent so much time looking for the right strategy or the perfect entry, but the truth was never on the chart. It was always in you. And now you've started to see that. You've named your patterns, mapped your mind, and stared down the parts of you that panic and overreact. You are building something different. You're not trading to feel better. You're training to be better. This is what it looks like on the other side of the chaos. The trader who doesn't tilt doesn't need to feel good to trade well. He doesn't need a winning streak to feel confident. He just needs his plan, his process, and a steady mind. Because real traders don't avoid mistakes. They understand them. They don't chase control. They train it. The next time the pressure, the fear, and the chaos hit, you'll feel it. But you won't become it. You'll breathe, anchor, and execute. That's the difference. That's the edge. And the best part? You're just getting started. If you've made it this far, it means something inside you knows this is the missing piece. You've read the books, learned the setups, watched the charts, but deep down, you know none of it sticks without control over yourself. The difference between the trader you are today and the trader you want to become isn't another indicator, another course, or another perfect strategy. It's the mental game. Starting today, make the commitment to treat your mindset like it's your most valuable position. Map your patterns. Journal every emotional spike, every moment of hesitation, every trigger that pulls you away from your plan. Don't just track your trades, track yourself. Over time, this discipline becomes your real edge. And if you're ready to stop trading like an emotional gambler and start thinking, acting, and executing like a professional, this is where you belong. Subscribe now and join a community built for traders who aren't here for quick wins. They're here to build careers. Every video here is a tool to sharpen your awareness, strengthen your discipline, and make sure your entire trading mindset works like the pros. Because strategies may change, markets may shift, but a trained mind, that's bulletproof. And if you want that kind of edge, you're in the right place.